Viewers, the Indian government has made a chilling assessment of what is to pass in Afghanistan in the near future. Within 48 hours of the Taliban sweeping into Kabul, viewers, highly placed sources in the Modi government have told Times Now that New Delhi is bracing for the possibility of having to guard against the creation of the first ever stable Islamist state in South Asia. The Indian government believes that more than even the ISIS in Syria, the Taliban have the capacity to set up a durable caliphate which will turn soon into the epicenter of, viewers, pan-global jihad. Those fears may not be untrue. In fact, they're playing out in real time. Viewers, you're going to see visuals on your screens. Indeed, not only has the Taliban imposed Sharia law, but it has also unleashed a clandestine barbarity. Reports of brutal reprisals and abductions are emerging. Women have been the worst sufferers, viewers. Violated, kidnapped, subjected to sexual violence, and committed to slavery. Most are routinely taunted for not covering their heads. One Canadian Afghan who was staying in a hotel with her husband was humiliated by Taliban moral police on suspicions of behaving in a promiscuous manner. Beauty parlors, and you can see the pictures, have covered up photos of women modeling hairdos, because under Sharia, you're not allowed to show the color of your hair. Sadly, viewers, young girls who should be playing in fields and going to school are being locked up by their parents, hidden away from sight. This is a tragedy, an unspeakable tragedy. At the other extreme, killing squads are going from home to home, and we just showed you visuals about 20 minutes back, viewers, of one such killing squad. Out there you can see, hunting for sympathizers. Some others are being tortured in public after being declared guilty in kangaroo courts for not following the strict medieval moral code imposed by the Taliban. Journalists who dared to expose the brutal ways of the Taliban are being hunted down, shot, dismembered, thrown into mass graves, anonymous ones. Thousands are appealing to foreign publications to help with evacuation. No one knows the scale of the bloodletting. Very little is coming out. It's being effectively suppressed. The Taliban have learned one thing. They don't want to publicize their barbarity. They would rather unleash it silently, because at the end of the day, viewers, when people start disappearing around you from your family, you'll be so scared that you will get the message. In fact, the Sharia shadow in Afghanistan has emboldened the affiliates of the Taliban, even in Pakistan, viewers. These affiliates, like the Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan, are now terrorizing anyone who isn't a subscriber to their view of Islam. The iconic statue, and there you can see it in the middle of your screens, of Maharaja Ranjit Singh in Lahore has been vandalized. And we're talking about Lahore here, viewers. We're not talking about the western border of Pakistan. We are talking about Lahore, which is just about 70 to 90 kilometers from Amritsar, or at least the border with India. Maharaja Ranjit Singh's torso has been ripped away from his body. This type of intolerance has state support. Just a few days ago, viewers, you will remember that in a Gurdwara in Afghanistan, the Nishan-e-Sahib was lowered at gunpoint. And in Pakistan, on very much the same day, or a day here or there, a Ganesha temple was vandalized. Yes, viewers, the merchants of medievalism are back, and they are emboldened. And now they think they can take their brand of Islam and spread it like a viral fever, like a plague, through South Asia, including India. But viewers, it's unfortunate that despite their intolerant outlook and espousal of Sharia-regulated caliphate, the Islamists have found support in India. The Samajwadi Party's member of parliament, viewers, is hailing the return of the Taliban. He calls them freedom fighters, the true sons of the faith that are throwing off the yoke of American imperialism. There is Shadab Chauhan, spokesperson of the Peace Party, who I asked to leave the show yesterday. He remains remorseless, unrepentant for his lauding of what he called was a Sharia style order in Afghanistan. There's Faiz Ahmed Faizi of the Peace Party also, who is celebrating the return of these ghouls. Listen to this, viewers. Listen to these views.
वो भी आज़ाद रहना चाहते, अपने देश को आज़ाद कराना चाहते, ये तो उनका पर्सनल मामला है, इसमें हम क्या दखल देंगे। वो उसने अमेरिका को के पाँव नहीं जमने दिए, रशिया के नहीं जमने दिए। जब भी कोई किसी तो बहरहाल वो अपने देश को खुद चलाना चाहते हैं, अपने तौर पर चलाना चाहते हैं।
जिस प्रकार भगत सिंह हमारे वीर सपूत ने हमारे देश की आजादी के लिए बलिदान दिया, उनके अपने कॉज हैं कि हमारे वीर सपूत हमारे देश के लिए बलिदान देने वाले लोगों ने जिस प्रकार अंग्रेजों के खिलाफ लड़ाई लड़ी, उनके लोगों ने भी अपने इश्यूज, अपने कॉज के लिए संघर्ष किया है। वो उनको आतंकवादी कैसे बोल सकते हैं आप?
देखिए, जहाँ तक मेरा मानना है, मेरा मानना है कि सत्ता परिवर्तन है, वो व्यवस्था परिवर्तन हुआ है और हर शख्स, दुनिया के हर शख्स को क्या नाम है उसकी है जिम्मेदारी और उसका अधिकार है कि वो आज़ादी के लिए लड़े।
Now viewers, the Peace Party is not some peripheral organization. It's a political party that has had alliances with mainstream, major regional political parties like the Samajwadi Party, like the AIMIM, and several others who have had tacit understanding, seat-sharing agreements with these elements, viewers. The Samajwadi Party views are being echoed on the Taliban by a member of parliament who is sworn to the allegiance of a modern, progressive constitution, the Constitution of India, not the Sharia of these Islamist viewers. Yet they are welcoming this development as the creation of a new just order and peace and rule of law. Viewers, these are the same individuals and some of their allies who incessantly target extremists on the Hindu side of the fence. Hindutva is their sworn enemy, but viewers, they laud Sharia. There are many examples of this. Rahul Gandhi, for example, says radical Hindu units bigger threat than the Lashkar-e-Toiba. Omar Abdullah, however, hails Islamist terrorists, says Burhan is the icon of disaffected community, pretty much like what these others are saying, that the Taliban is the product of a disaffected majority in Afghanistan. Viewers, just think about this. Digvijay Singh links saffron to terror. Why is every Hindu terrorist a Sanghi? But Mehbooba Mufti will hail Islamist terrorists. Terrorists are the son of soil in Kashmir, just like they are the sons of soils in Afghanistan, viewers. These individuals who want to create, not just in Afghanistan, they don't really recognize that. They want to create a pan-Islamic ummah and a caliphate They have no geographical ties, viewers, with any soil. You have Kamal Hassan of the MNM. Independent India's first terrorist was a Hindu. But Shaukat Ganai, National Conference leader, will hail Islamist terrorists. The list goes on. And I want to open this up tonight, viewers, and I want to ask some very specific questions. And I want to begin with Abdul Razack Khan, political analyst. Mr. Khan, do you endorse the views of the likes of the Samajwadi Party MP, the Peace Party leader, several others who have commented over the last few days about how the Taliban has won a war against a power that gratuitously used violence to suppress the real voice of Afghanistan, how they think that the Sharia rule in Afghanistan will bring real peace and justice? Do you subscribe to all of this?
Rahul, in my opinion, what I would like to say is that, those are the real residents, native inhabitants of that country. Let them establish their nation the way they want. Even if they want to have Sharia law, what is wrong? As if there are no Sharia law countries around in the world. India has good relations with Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia follows Sharia law. Egypt has Sharia law. Indonesia has Sharia law. Bahrain, Oman, Qatar. There is a list of countries who are following Sharia law. We are just trying to portray a bad side of Taliban because 20 years ago when they were in power, they were very harsh. What was happening 20 years ago in Saudi Arabia? Even Saudi Arabia was very harsh. Today they have moderate laws. Today they are giving a little, exemptions. Women were not allowed to go out of the house even in Saudi Arabia. So now after 20 years, after living like slaves in that country, today if they are getting a chance to establish Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan, let them establish their country in the way they want. Why should we be concerned? Why are we speaking if they want to establish Sharia law? Nepal's legal system is based on
sir,
Hindu philosophy.
Can I ask you a counter question? Can I ask you a counter question? Sir, these are the individuals. No, listen to me.
Yes, please.
Don't get excited. Let me ask you a counter question, sir. Have you forgotten that the Taliban sheltered the Lashkar-e-Toiba? Shelters, sir, units of the Al-Qaeda, the AQIS, the Al-Qaeda in South Asia, that is sworn, sir, to liberate, in their words, Kashmir from Indian Hakumat, that they were part of a plot to hijack an Indian plane. Listen to me, sir.
For political gains.
Listen to me. Listen to me, sir. Can you listen to me? Don't interrupt me. Why are you interrupting me? Why are you interrupting me? I'm pointing out. You said, why should we? I'm giving you some reasons. Let me tell you. And who have they replaced? They've replaced a democratically elected government in Afghanistan that swore by a modern, inclusive constitution. Sir, in Afghanistan today, Sikhs and Hindus of Afghan descent and citizenship are being butchered. These are the people who brought down Bamiyan Buddhas, a hallmark of the Indic civilization. They have a problem with our outlook.
Very clear assurance
with all
that
Hindus,
nothing would happen
with
to
all
the Sikhs.
Listen to me.
Nothing would happen to the Hindus.
Sir?
They have gone to the
going from house
Gurudwara.
to house and hunting people. They are taking women as sexual slaves. They are taking little girls by force to get married to them. You justify this? You think this is a rule of law?
Islam does not endorse all this.
No.
They are radical Islamists. They do not do any kind of things like this.
There are
Should you
visuals,
say that young women were forcibly married?
They are going and butchering people.
Which country does not have crimes like that? As if 7-year-old girls are not raped in India.
One second.
As if 7-year-old girls are not raped in India.
Al-Qaeda, listen to me, and the ISIS, excuse me.
Crime happens.
Sir, it is not, they are not raped as a matter of, one second. They are not raped as a matter of state sanction. This is state sanction. Pedophilia. Can you believe it? And you are justifying this? Let me open this up.
Rahul, they have not established their state
Let me ask
till
you,
now.
are we sanctioning today?
They have not established their
don't
state
shout.
till now.
I am not asking you anymore. Listen to me, sir. They have imposed the Sharia law. Please, in the areas that are under their occupation, they are ruling. It's only a matter of time. They'll make the announcement in a day or so. They've already started going to beauty parlors. Haven't you read the international press and the national Indian media and Times Now's reports?
What is wrong in
They're
Sharia
going to
law?
hotel rooms where women who are
What
married
is
to their
wrong in
husbands
Sharia law?
are being pulled out,
Let them
snapped
have their
around,
law. It is
shaved,
their country.
pinched, molested for doing what?
It is their country. Let them
How dare you,
establish
sir?
the country they
How
want.
dare you? A member of India's parliament comes out
It
and
is
says
their country.
that the
All that
Taliban,
you are saying
that
is
the
not
Taliban is a
Islamic.
force for good,
All that
and you
you
are
are
sitting
saying
here
is un-Islamic.
and you have no problems with
They
that.
are not
1 minute.
involved. It
1
might
minute.
be
You
some
see,
crime somewhere.
Mr. Khan, I am sorry, sir. That is what they view as Islam. And they think that individuals like you are not propagating the real Islam. Danish Siddiqui was killed because in their view he wasn't propagating what they believe was the right Islam. Who do you kill? Who do you think killed Danish Siddiqui?
He was
Who
killed
do you
by
think?
the Afghan forces.
Was he not an Indian citizen?
He was killed by the
There you
Afghan
go.
forces.
You're a liar.
He was
On
killed
national
by
TV,
the
Mr.
Afghan
Khan, you are
forces.
lying. Why? Because you're sworn
Yesterday,
to a
all the
warped
killings
ideology.
that happened
Now, wait a
happened
minute.
by the
Wait a minute,
American
sir. I don't want to
troops.
listen to you.
Yesterday,
Please.
the killings
We have
that
nothing in
happened with the American
Mr. Khan, we
troops.
have nothing in common. If you are going to deny the open killing of Danish Siddiqui today at the hands of the Taliban, sir, then where can I have a honest conversation? We can't. It's better that I bring in others. Give me 30 seconds. Yes, Shehzad Poonawala, Tariq Fateh is also here. Zafarul Islam Saab is also here. Mr. Haidari Saab is here. Shehzad, please, Mr. Poonawala, go ahead. Please remind this gentleman.
Yeah. Well, Rahul, whether it is the Taliban or the desecrator of Ranjit Singh's statue in Pakistan, or whether somebody on your panel who's justified the killing of Kamlesh Tiwari, or somebody who was on Navika's panel last night and said that the Taliban is Mananiya and Adarniya, these are all the faces of the same, they're different strains of the same virus. They come from a single source, they subscribe to a single toolkit, and that is the toolkit of Islamic intolerance. And therefore, you'll find them coming on your panel and legitimizing whitewashing and even doing PR for the new and improved version of Taliban, as if something like that could be possible. You heard what Mr. Abdul Razack Khan just said? He said you're only highlighting the bad side of Taliban. What is the good side of Taliban? They going to room and capturing 12-year-old girls and marrying them off and raping them? Is that the good side of Taliban? The other panelist on your channel who's on this debate right now, can he condemn the first act of Islamic intolerance and bigotry? The visuals that we are seeing today of people trying to latch on to planes and run away from the Sharia law of Taliban in Afghanistan, well, those scenes were witnessed when Kashmiri Hindus were kicked out of their house in Jammu Kashmir in 1990s. There are people who belong to the valley sitting here on the panel. How many times did they come out and condemn it? They didn't. In fact, they actually endorsed the idea of Nizam-e-Mustafa being created, just like the Peace Party representative or the Samajwadi Party calling them freedom fighters. These are all subscribers of the same ideology. Therefore, the Gaza Mandali, you remember that Mandali which was going around about Israel bombing Gaza? Well, today they are silent when Muslims are killed in Kabul at the hands of Taliban.
Sir,
you remember the kind of Islamophobia lobby? The same Islamophobia lobby that was happening. Now, please, Mr. Abdul Razack Khan, 1 second. Please let me have my say. I did not interrupt you. The Islamophobia lobby, the lobby that said that Muslims in
सब
India
आपकी
are
बात सुन रहे थे, उनको तो बोलने दीजिए. Let them speak. Let Mr. Poonawala speak. Don't speak over Mr. Khan. I'll have to lower your fader. Please don't do this. Please, let's not do this. He never interrupted you.
You know,
He never interrupted you.
Abdul Razack Khan.
You can have your
Mr.
say. We are not
Abdul
running
Razack
away
Khan.
from here, sir. We are not like the Taliban that ran away. We are very much here. We are not going away anywhere.
Yeah,
You might
so
you
Mr.
might want to welcome this lot, but
You know,
we will stand
Rahul-
here and fight them. Don't worry. Now, 1 second.
Rahul,
Yeah. Yes. Mr. Poonawala. Yes.
Rahul, the only difference between a rat and a squirrel is good PR. I mean, Abdul Razack Khan is just Taliban-minded and Taliban-like, except that he has better PR. He's the same person who sat on Times Now and he justified the killing of Kamlesh Tiwari. I had shown that visual on the last debate that I was with him. The problem, Rahul, is that these people are not hypocrites. No, they are not hypocrites who come here and they justify Sharia law being implemented above the constitution. They actually believe in it. Mr. Majid Hydari actually believes in a world system where women are not allowed to work. He believes in a world system where there should be no movies, no dancing, no music. He believes in that. He truly does. And therefore he labels the Taliban as Adarniya. And if he doesn't, then I would request him to condemn the acts of Taliban as un-Islamic. I would request him to condemn what happened to the Kashmiri Hindus in 1990s and as an Islamic bigoted act. He won't do it simply because he and Taliban have much in common. They both subscribe to the same worldview.
Mr. Hydari, would you like to respond to Shehzad Poonawala?
Rahulji, I have a very humble submission. Let's not jump the gun over the Taliban 2.0. They are the millennial Taliban, they are the moderate Taliban, they are the SWA Taliban. And they are talking about Shariat. Now, Shariat is a very sensitive issue, so kindly listen to me for 30 seconds.
Mr. Hydari, what are you talking about? There are people being tortured in the streets. They're being hunted down and beheaded and killed and God knows what else. Can you see the visuals on your screens, for God's sake?
That is what I am coming up to.
What is good about this?
To start the Shariat. They are going to start the Shariati law. Now, what Shariati law is? Shariat is the heart.
People are being lynched and beaten black and blue. Women are being... No, 1 second. These Taliban self-styled moral police, I don't know, sir. I'm sorry. I cannot recognize a group of individuals who has nothing in common with an inclusive worldview. नहीं, आप मुझे ये बताइए, sir. आप मुझे ये बताइए आप. Will you condemn the underage kidnapping and marrying of girl children to Taliban men?
Sir,
will you, sir, condemn
the
Taliban edict stopping women from going to schools?
This claim is
I'm asking, will you contradict? No, will you condemn this? Will you condemn this?
Contradictory. You are saying they are imposing.
Will you condemn it?
Sharia does not allow this. Sharia does not allow rape.
I'm asking you.
In the first instance. So this is
that is what has been happening, sir. Ask the Afghan ladies. Ask millions of Afghan women. Ask Malala Yousafzai.
See, Rahulji,
Man, I'm not allowing you to speak, sir.
Rahulji, Shariat is the heart and soul of governance in Islamic countries.
Listen, I don't know what... Listen to me, Mr. Hydari, I don't know what warped form...
Have the courage to listen.
No, I don't know what warped form. Sir, I'm not a scholar.
Sir,
I'm only asking you a simple question.
Please.
Forget that for a moment. Do you believe that freedom fighters who are fighting for an inclusive state, who want a progressive democratic state, should be pulling people out of their homes, journalists, and murdering them and shoving their bodies in open graves, unmarked ones? I'm asking you this question. Should they be beating 11-year-old girls because they happen to show their foot in public? Should these people be allowed to, sir, kidnap 9, 10-year-olds so that they can marry them and treat them as sexual slaves? I'm asking you. I don't know what this law is, but I'm asking you. Isn't whatever this is condemnable, and does this at any level position the Taliban as a force for good, sir? I'm asking you this question. Please answer me this question. Condemn this.
Sir, as I requested, let's not jump the gun over Shariat. Because Shariat is which has its benefits.
There you go.
Saudi Arab has 11
you are latching on to your own interpretation, sir, of Shariat. I am talking about what is happening on a daily basis in Afghanistan.
See, these are isolated.
That is the rule of law that they want to impose. Now they call it Shariat. I don't know. They call themselves Talib. They are students of the faith. They should know their faith the best. Now what is going on here? What is cooked up, sir? These are videos.
No.
These are videos. What stooges? These are all videos, sir, which the Taliban are putting out themselves.
Sir, I'll give you 3 examples.
Tariq, I'm scared of Shariat. I'm scared of Shariat. I don't want girls, sir, to be raped and married off to all sorts of, no, 1 second, to all sorts of killers. No, I don't want that to happen. Hello, I don't want minorities to be butchered, and I don't want, listen, I'm not going to get into this asinine debate with you, sir, about what is wrong and what is what is right and what is wrong in a modern world. I think we move beyond the caves. If your head is still stuck in one, good luck to you, sir. I hope this doesn't happen.
Rahul ji, Mahatma Gandhi.
It has already happened once in 1990 in Kashmir, and I know where you were. Where you were with that. 1 minute.
Sir.
Tariq Fateh, I want to bring in. Don't listen. Don't give me the lectures on secularism, sir. Don't give me lectures. You condemn. You condemn what is happening with the Afghan Sikhs and Hindus. Condemn it.
Sir, they assured them safety and security. That is what I read in the international media.
Is that the reason? Is that the reason why they are running from that country, sir? Is that the reason why Ranjit Singh's statue is being hacked to pieces?
Sir, some isolated fringe are trying to run.
What kind of assurance is that?
In our country,
there are no isolated fringe, sir. This is the Taliban. They were the isolated fringe that was living in caves, and they have now come out of their caves and taken over civilization, at least as we know it in Afghanistan. And that is the real fear, because there will be hundreds of others like you, sir, who will embolden them by praising them to the heavens. Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I want to bring in Tariq Fateh. 1 minute. Don't shout over me. I want to bring in Tariq Fateh. Tariq Fateh, could you explain to your brothers, Mr. Hydari and Mr. Khan, why they are wrong, what their problem is with the modern world and modernity?
Not his brother. I can never
just a second. They believe, they soundly believe in what they're saying. Abai, please make these people quiet. If they can't join in a discussion, tell them to go to the cave.
We are
just go.
We have the right to speak.
Yes.
Please.
Mr. Tariq Fateh, lower it.
There's no point in me talking if he's put the sign of Allah behind him.
I'm asking a question
they hide behind
of Tariq Fateh Saab. That's it.
Gee.
Yeah.
The point is that they genuinely, as Shehzad Punawala said, they genuinely aspire to Sharia and Nizam-e-Mustafa in India. ये आप समझते हैं partition करा के इनको, they have not yet learned the lesson. Their blood is curdling to destroy Hindustan because they believe in Ghazwa Hind. The Taliban are a product of the Pakistan armed forces and the ISI, and there is absolutely no difference between these two gentlemen sitting behind the curtain, hiding under the name of Allah and displaying it to themselves. Look at the way they propagandize the very word Allah, so that they can do that propagation. You might not be able to read it, but most of us can, and we know their agenda. Their hatred for Hindustan is embedded in their soul. The Ghazwa Hind doctrine identifies the destruction of India. And please, the doctrine of Ghazwa Hind means every Hindu has to be killed, every Hindu temple has to be destroyed, so that the Roz-e-Qayamat would come and all these people, sexually frustrated to the highest core, would go up to paradise where they can have non-stop sex forever. Their entire mindset is sexualized, sexually frustrated, and that is why they go after 12, 13-year-old girls to have sex with them by invoking Sharia law, which, by the way, was written hundreds of years after the death of the Prophet. One last thing, that entire doctrine of Taliban is a product of Deoband, which is what India tolerates as tens of thousands of madrasas, where this garbage is induced into people like them who believe that their job in life is to destroy Hindustan. They came here as conquerors. They want, their names are never Indian.
Okay.
They always want the end of Hindustan.
Zafar Islam
so that
Saab,
they can come over there.
Given the fact that people like Shehzad Punawala and Tariq Fateh Saab have told us why we must be wary of the Taliban, why we must not legitimize their absolutely barbaric ways. I want to ask you, sir, will the Indian government now not engage this militia of medieval obscurantism? Simple question.
Rahul, let me respond to that question. First of all, the priorities which are set in by the government of India is to evacuate those Indians who are stuck there. That is our number one priority. Second, as far as the question which you have posed, and I think
this is equally important, because whether we need to engage, not to engage, whether we legitimize the rule, the barbaric rule of Taliban, which is so evident from the video we have shown just now. But it is the government is monitoring the situation, situation is evolving, and government has very clearly stated that our first priority is to evacuate them, and then of course they will come out and explain this position what the government of India is taking. But having said that, Rahul, I would like to give the piece of advice to those two gentlemen, Mr. Hadri and Mr. Khan, that they were arguing with you unnecessarily, because everyone knows that if somebody has to be criticized, it is Taliban. We have seen their past, 1996 to 2001, the 5-year rule, which has actually exposes Taliban that they are nothing but terrorist organization. Having said that, again, as I said, that they are taking Islam as somehow whatever term you use is Shariat law. Shariat law only to their advantage, but they are nothing. This has nothing to do with the Shariat. They are a terrorist organization. The way they have behaved all along was nothing but terrorism. And now the American has...
Well, if that is the case, I just hope that the Indian government doesn't roll out the red carpet and does not at any level legitimize. We have at least today pulled out. Yes, that's great to know. I hope, sir, that what you have told us, and you're a member of parliament from the Rajya Sabha, so I'm sure at least you're speaking to us with some authority. And I just do hope, viewers, that we don't open up our consulates there and legitimize these individuals. That would be a travesty, because it would completely legitimize people like Majid Haidari and Mr. Razack Khan, who believe that the Taliban are a force for change, good, and the welfare of people. Well, viewers, we're taking a short break, because when I return, there's a bigger controversy over an order that has been issued by the UP government. Don't go away. We're coming right back to this.